Hello everyone, welcome back to Challenger League. We are here for round 4 for the Italian C-Prix at the Cremona Circuit. A new track, very recently renovated, as we are seeing our recently crowned JL winner in Paris over here, just making a few errors on their first round trip through this circuit. They're only going to be 17th when the flag falls. It's going to be 6Y, leading us away with a 32.17. That is a strong lap to get us started on this qualifying session. But as we round that long back straight now, 6Y is running down. Got Figueroa and Guzman also just in the top 3 at the moment. Girouni does improve to 5th place though. Few drivers just getting their tyres warm, getting more comfortable around this track as we are going in for one last round of this circuit in the lovely Lombardy region of Italy. Now Girouni just rounding that hairpin and into that long back straight. Getting into those final 3 corners, we'll see if he slaloms through it. The Lusso Britannica driver does pretty well. Does not improve though, but it will be 6Y who holds onto that pole position. Didn't need an improvement, but Figueroa and Ruski are going to join him. Actually, it's Figueroa on the front row. Ruski and Skip tying for P3 there. Both drivers hitting an identical time. Skip with the reserve for the Nordic Blizzard team. Good result for him around this tight, twisty track. Ruski finishing in 4th then. It's Guzman in 5th, then it's Flicks in P6, good result for the JL regular. X6 in P7, be happy to see him return to the league. Girouni in P8, followed by Rams and Paris in 10th. Gonna round out to the rest of the grid. Urist in 11th, followed by Saucy, Bubbles, Alexi, then it's Ethan, Axperial, ST28, Priya, and Trixie rounding off our drivers. Trixie didn't get a great lap in either of their attempts. We'll have to see if any improvements can be made during the 2 races we'll have. For those races though, we do have the grid for the top 10 flipped on its head for the sprint. That means that Paris finished P10 in the qualifying, so they actually start on pole for the sprint race, but they will start in P10 for the feature. We'll just catch you back up when that gets underway. We'll see how that plays out and how the, I believe, 11 laps of the Cremona Circuit here will play out in the wet. Hello, we're back again. 5 red lights, we're straight underway with our sprint race here. 11 laps of the Cremona Circuit coming to you right now. Paris has gotten away with a good start. Rams and Girouni fighting away as they are the top drivers in this sprint race at the moment, starting from that very front spot due to finishing in the mid-pack in the qualifying, of course. It's a big fight at the back. Skip's found a lot of trouble back there, hitting the grass and fading away into the back of the field. It's Paris and Rams running away. Girouni in X6 with Ruski, and Guzman actually makes a great line there to get into this fight as well, in all trying to get into that last spot on the podium. Flicks behind them. There's Figo and Saucy as well, with Axperial and Urist and 6Y now in P12, our championship leader, followed by Trixie, Priya and Alexi Joldov going into turn 7 together. Alexi going a little bit wide there. Bubbles and Skip following with Ethan and ST84 in the back of the field there. It's a 2-horse race as we go back to the long back straight here. Rams ahead of Paris. Paris letting Rams through, but it's oh dude, Paris was trying that switchback there. It just didn't work out, so he's still going to hold on to 2nd and that slipstream, but Girouni is chasing the Lusso Britannica driver. Is running in the top 2, I believe, for the first time this season, so brilliant start for him. And we'll see if he can challenge Rams for the lead now as Figo gets past Paris as well, who's making a few more errors now. X6 and Flicks behind them, as well as Ruski's chasing along. Then it's a bit of a gap to the next group, which is 6Y and Urist fighting away for P8. 6Y goes really deep into the grass and loses position to Saucy as well. So he's down at P10. And it's trouble for him. Alexei behind in 11th. Guziman gets that switchback through into P11 ahead of the Russian driver. Axperial, then Priya, Skip, Ethan, Trixie, and ST. It's pretty still close-knit. Halfway through lap 4, Rams and Girouni chasing How. Figueroa getting a better exit through that hairpin. He's going to go into P2. He might make a charge for the lead here. He backs out just a little bit, holds onto the slipstream. Rams still leading at the end of lap 4. But Figueroa does take that fastest lap of the race, and he's going to be going side by side through this first sector of corners. He does touch a bit of grass now. Girouni makes a late lunge there, and he gets the position back. He's into P2 once again. Further behind here, Rusky holding on to P4. X6 making that inside line into Flicks on on turn 8, sorry. Getting stopped from a potential opportunity there. Flicks with the exit speed. But X6 with the slipstream. Rusky hits the grass. And he's lost 2 positions in the space of one straight there. And Paris is also back into this fight here, as they're all chasing each other down for P4 here. Flicks is through for the time being. Girouni's actually dropped back a little bit from Rams now. Rams making a mistake. It's going to let Figo in just a little bit more. But it is the top 2 unchanged. Girouni in 3rd. Flicks, then Rusky in X6 following behind. Then it's Paris in P7, followed by X6Y in P8. Not really able to make too much ground for the time being. Urist in 9th, Ethan getting shoved right off there by Guziman getting shoved right off by Ethan there, and he makes a mistake, which sort of invites Saucy through. Guziman making a bit of a risky dive there into the final corner. He's going to lose extra position to Alexei Drozdov. Skip chasing him, his teammate in P14. Axperial in 15th, and it's Priya, Bubbles, ST8, and Trixie at the back as well. So let's go back to the front, because Figo has actually taken the lead of this race here. Rams is just barely holding the slipstream at the moment. Figo has got a great line through that final sector, and he might have been able to escape the chase of the VEO driver, as he takes the lead with just 4 laps remaining in this race. It's still Girouni in 3rd, but now it's a big fight between him and his teammate X6Y, who's made a bigger improvement getting through into this big pack here. They're all fighting for the final position here on the podium. Flicks and Girouni into the hairpin there at the back of this back the long straight. Rusky, 6Y, and X6 still in this fight as well. Those tyres will start to really wear out. We'll see how the drivers go through this corner. Flicks and Girouni get slowed up. 6Y finds a way through, as he always does. Our championship leader into the podium positions, but he's still got a fight on his hands to hold on to it. Rusky, 6Y gets pushed back there. It's X6 it's X6 into 3rd now, as the 2 drivers, Figueroa and Rams, are just starting to run away a bit more. Figueroa gapping Rams just a tiny bit as they go through the straight now. It's 6Y and Girouni, the 2 Luso Britannicas, just getting through and holding on to 3 and 4 as we are closing up on lap 9. Oh, it's even tighter than we see there. The Velocity Power team with their new livery going through there. Girouni making an error and falling back away. He was sitting in P4 for a moment. He has to settle for 7th for the time being. There's still a lap and a half to go, but it's Figo leading us away, still comfortably in the lead now. Rams should definitely hold on to that P2 with his pace at the moment. 6Y holding on to 3rd. It might be his to keep now. Bubbles into the pits and retiring from the race with just 2 laps to go. Flicks in P4 is still trying to chase our title leader at the moment. It's into the final lap. Flicks making a mistake there. Paris through on X6, but no, it's still side by side between the 2 of them. Paris through into P5. X6 making a mistake. Girouni and Rusky in 7th and 8th. 9th is Urist. Then it's Ethan and Saucy getting chased down, but it is an even bigger gap for Figueroa as he's going through that last section of the track just now. It has been a comfortable drive as soon as he's gotten to the lead, but he had to really fight for it here. Figueroa wins the sprint race here at Cremona. Rams will take P2, and it's 6Y rounding out the podium. Flicks will hold on to P4, followed by Paris. X6 and Girouni at the end, just nip and tuck at the line there. Then it's Rusky and Urist in 9th. Ethan will complete our top 10s, followed by Saucy, Skip, and Guziman. Axperial will hold on to 14th ahead of Priya ST84 just getting through that final corner, and Trixie with Alexei Drozdov, I believe, also... I'm not sure what's happened to Alexei Drozdov. I don't see him on the field. He might have DNF'd as well. I wasn't really sure of that. Don't think I could see him on my... Yeah, I don't see him, so... Yeah, something must have happened to him, unfortunately. And, yeah, that is our sprint race for today. Figueroa with a charging drive from P9 on the grid. Getting through the field and just snatching it away with that superior pace. Takes a fast lap as well, so it is maximum points for the Japanese driver. That fight for third was quite bloody indeed, but it is 6i holding on ahead of a massive pack of cars between that group of about third to 8th was really nip and tuck for a majority of that race. And it was even showed by X6 just holding on against Jaruni by a single hundredth at the line. But yeah, that is all. Figueroa in first place, Rams in second, and 6Y in third. Flix will be happy with that P4, followed by Paris, X6, and Jaruni, with Rusky, Urist, and Ethan rounding out our top 10. Saucy will finish at 11th, then it is Skip and Guzman for the Nordic Blizzards 12th and 13th. Axperio in 14th, and it's Priya, ST84 in 16th. Trixie, our last finisher for the day, with Alexei Drozdov and Bubbles retiring from the race, as we saw. With that done though, there is still one more race to go for today, and we'll have to see what the feature has in store for us. And we are back. The track is dry. We are set for 30 laps. Our feature race is underway. 6Y leading us off, and Figueroa with the inside line into turn 1 will take the lead of the race. Skip will be challenging for that podium now, starting in P3, and he's holding on to the P3 for the time. Guzman, his teammate, in the inside into turn 7. It's a big crowd of cars here. Massive rocket, and Skip has fallen away once again. That is unfortunate for the British driver here. In third place though, Rusky's on the hard tyres today. That'll be interesting to see how that plays out. X6 is in the podium positions now. Guzman chasing him away. No, makes a mistake there. Guzman threw into P6. There's a massive shove in that last corner here. And I think Rams and Paris were the ones who were most aggrieved by that collision. Bubbles trying to get through on the JL driver. Not quite getting that to work. Priya getting challenged by Paris now into the inside of this hairpin. Still an interesting challenge there for P12, but it's Vigo and 6Y running away first and second in the championship, and as it leads, Figueroa with a decent lap to start us off. He's holding on to the position. 6Y is actually finding his line a little bit compromised due to the slipstream there, so he might be falling back a tiny bit just to settle himself, maybe get back into a better distance to maybe show off his race pace here. But behind them, it's actually Guzman in P3. So a big turn of fortune compared to his result in the sprint race. It's X6 in fourth, sorry, with Saucy running in 5th. So I have to see if the new driver, a relatively new driver against a relative veteran who has been out of the game for quite a while. We'll have to see how that plays out with Skip behind the two of them here. So it is a real mix of old and new as we get through lap 4 here. Skip making a bit of trouble on that turn 9 there. The slight right kink should be flat out in most of his cars. Oh my god, huge rocket! And several drivers have halfway pulled into the pit lane there. Saucy and X6 finding all sorts of trouble, and that's a massive amount of time lost between them and P3, with Rusky now holding on to P4. Jaruni off into the gravel there, and it's all going off at the moment. Urist, he outbreaks himself there, goes really wide, still holds on to P9 though, ahead of his teammate. And just really lucky. Honestly, a little bit of good car control there to keep himself out of the gravel there. It's still 6Y and Figo side by side. 6Y is leading this time. He's also got the fastest lap of the race. 6 laps into our race here today. even more troubles between that pack right at the midfield. It's Guzman in third, his teammate Skip now running in P4, so he's been up and down the grid today. He's back into relatively higher positions. He's fighting with Rusky, who those hard tyres will really start to be activating now compared to the softs of everyone else around him. X6 and Saucy still in that fight though. They're chasing down the British driver here. X6 getting even closer now in that VEO machinery. It's quite nip and tuck through the first sector. Saucy tries a dive there. It wasn't quite going to work out. But they are getting through just fine. They've seemed to also gap everyone behind them. Jaruni in P8, then it's Ethan, Urist, Flix, Rams, Paris finding some gravel there, getting passed by Bubbles and Priya. With Alexi in 16th, then it's Xperio and Trixie struggling. And ST is actually the first to pit. And Figueroa is going to try this undercut against 6Y here. So 7 laps on those soft tyres Figueroa is hoping on. So you could definitely make the strategy to go 7 or 8 laps on the softs and go for a 3-stopper here. It might be the fast strategy to get through these 30 laps. We'll have to see. Rusky in P3 now on the hards. A few more drivers have headed in for softs. Most of the drivers actually have made initial stops here. But we'll have to see how long Rusky can hold on to those hard tyres. Figueroa rounding the final corner. He is going to get that massive undercut on 6Y. And the gap is quite large actually. It's about 1.5 seconds. So a big difference a clean outlap can make there. The Riker Auto running away now. We'll see if those tyres can hold on for later in the race. Rusky is still in P3, holding on to those hard tyres, but he's really getting chased down by Guzman here. Jaruni on the medium still as well. 9 laps might be it for the mediums. We'll have to see. Urist on the hard still, chased down by Skip on those fresh soft tyres. Potentially in the fight for the podium now. With Guzman, his teammate, just not too far away, but still, it's a decent distance, a decent gap to make up as Jaruni heads into the pits. Urist on the hard still, getting chased down by both Skip and X6. Saucy now running in P8. Ethan, then Jaruni on some fresh hard rubber. He's come out just in front of Mr. Bubbles. He's going to hold on to the inside in turn 7. That becomes the outside in turn 8, but Jaruni makes a good early defensive move to hold on to the position. Bubbles tries to make a dive into that large hairpin at the back of the track here. Bubbles with that extra speed on the soft tyres is going to get through and into P10, but he makes a struggle of that final sector, and even more so there's Ethan, who has found himself side by side with the drivers. And Jaruni really doesn't want to deal with this. He wants clean air, or at least some slipstream, but he's not getting either of that. He's getting a battle between Bubbles and Ethan, and he's in the middle of that, and Flix and Rams are going to get involved in here too. Rams going through on everyone right there. That was a quite nice little move through that hairpin there. But let's not distract ourselves from the race lead at the moment, because Figueroa is actually, if anything, is actually built the gap up compared to 6Y at the moment. So he is showing quite a load of pace on the second stint, despite the lap older tyres. Gap about 2.2 as they both drive down that long back straight there. The cars definitely lean onto that top speed for quite a while before that last sequence of corners there. Guzman still holding on to P3. He's a long way back from the top 2, but he has pretty much gapped everyone behind him. It's Rusky now into the pits after 12 laps on the hard tyres, so Urist also following him through, so 12 laps seems to be the play for the hard tyre strategy. Interesting to see X6 and Skip now fighting for P4. It's X6 holding on to the position now. This is two old school drivers once again battling it out. X6 hasn't driven in a league for quite a while, and Skip is usually on the commentary booth, so not a situation we get to usually see these two on track side by side, but it is quite a pleasure. They're keeping it rather respectful for the time being. It's Saucy now behind the two of them, about 3 seconds the gap between them in P6, and Flix and Rams chasing the Singaporean down. Gap is really not getting any better for Saucy now. Slipstream is imminent for Flix on this straight away. Then it's Rams, Rusky on some fresh hard rubber in P9, followed by Jaruni, Ethan and Bubbles in 12th. Urist on fresh hards in 13th, getting chased down by Paris, who'll try to make the move into the corner. Urist lets him through. And we'll have to see if that slipstream can help him out anymore. Ethan and Bubbles in already for a second stint. And so is X6, who actually made a stop a lot earlier than I was expecting. So onto medium tyres after 14 laps on 2 different sets of softs. I'll have to see what the other drivers do. 6Y is going to go for the pits now. After Figueroa pit the previous lap as well. So the gap isn't nearly as much as it was last time out. It's still about 1.6 seconds, but we'll have to see if 6Y can close that gap down just a little bit more in this next stint. He is within a screen's width of Figo, so he's not... he's definitely gained some time over that pit stop period. Because man's still a long way back from the two of them on the mediums now. And, yeah, the Norwegian driver just trying to consolidate his position and trying to hold on to that podium for now. He knows that all he has to do now is beat Rusky and his rivals here in terms of strategy, which is X6 and Skip. X6 getting sandwiched by Jaruni at the moment, who is on his hard tyre stint. Still running on the hards after, I think he pitted around lap 10. So... definitely going for a 2-stop, the Belarusian. Looks like Skip is going to try and make a move here. He's getting blocked out by Jaruni, who takes it inside of the corner. And it's quite respectful here, but Skip just getting through on the start-finish straight there. A little bit of slowing down there, and the gap between X6 and Skip has really broadened out, especially after that undercut from X6. By about a lap or two. Rusky now in P4, but he's getting hunted down once again by the drivers on fresher, softer tyres. But the gap between the top two and Kuzuman is actually widening. If anything, 6Y is caught up to Figo. And after all of that, 6Y is in the lead of the race for, I believe, the first time since the race started. Pretty much. Figo with some extra speed looks to get through on the Latvian driver and has the outside into turn 1. It's nip and tuck here. It's quite tight between these two title contenders. Figueroa still in the lead though. He's pulled it back and he's going to try and hold on to it for as much as he can. Both drivers still have 1 pit stop to go, so any risky decision on a undercut will have massive connotations for this battle on that final stint. They definitely cannot pit anywhere soon. 6Y finding some extra gravel there, extra travel on the grass, and he's still going to hold on to second. Going to try move on the inside. Oh, they both hit the grass there. Oh, it's so tight. 6Y making a dive there into the lead. Wow, that was quite the brave move in all honesty. And yeah, 6Y. Figo still side by side though. 6Y not getting the greatest exit out of that hairpin at turn 8. Turn 10 though into the long straight here. 6Y has the better exit speed and will take back the lead. But for how much longer? Not much longer. Figueroa into the pit lane. And he's in for medium tyres. He's got a 9 laps to run on those. So this is a big call here. Can he hold on to the grip for 9 laps is the question here. Will 6Y make that immediate snap decision to pit? He's still within that, he's still just inside the pit window. So I don't think this undercut would really help Figueroa that much. Here's 6Y in. He's going for mediums as well. So, very interesting decision there. And the undercut is only barely better there. So Figueroa just getting his nose in front of 6Y, but it is going to be a side-by-side battle for the rest of the race here. That is quite the feat here. 6Y doing an amazing job on his in-lap to keep in the pit window there of Figueroa. But speaking of other drivers, X6 running along on those medium tyres, he'll have to deal with some drivers behind him taking an undercut, I believe, but he will have to pit relatively soon. Guzman on some fresh medium tyres will be hoping to make it to the end on those. Flicks trying to challenge him through on the soft tyres. He does go into the pit lane. X6 is still staying out as well. That's interesting. Rams will have to make another stop. Rusky in 6th place on fresh mediums, so maybe the chase is between him and Guzman for that podium position, though he is quite a fair ways back from the Norwegian. Saucy still running along on the medium tyres. Flicks on some fresh soft tyres. And Jaruni on some relatively fresh mediums. He should get to the end on those. Skip on softs. Urist on softs. Then it's big battle here between Bubbles on softs, Paris on softs, and Ethan on softs, all trying to get through each other on relatively similar strategies now. Priya in 15th on some hard tyres. She'll be losing time. She'll be losing time to everyone in front of her. That is not the play when you want to be running those tyres, of course. Alexei Drozdov in P16, and it's Axperio, ST, and Trixie are still in the running, but it is still Figo in the lead now. The medium tyres will hold up to the end of the race. How much will that extra bit of wear that Figueroa has dictate the pace, dictate the matter of this battle? Figo leaving the door open a little bit there for 6Y onto turn 10, and 6Y is now through into the lead, and Figueroa making a bit of a mess of the final chicane there, but he's still in the slipstream for now. The battle for P2 is red hot, and we have our first retirement for the race. Paris driving a pretty anonymous race, honestly, in P15, out of the race now. That is an unfortunate way to finish off your, I believe, their first CL weekend. But yeah, unfortunate as well, given they what a bright start they had in JL just a few hours ago. It is still really tight between Figueroa and 6Y as we enter the final 3 laps of the race here. Can Figueroa hold on? That is the question here. Those mediums will really be starting to wear now, and 6Y will be pushing and going for any opportunity he can possibly find. That middle mistake there on turn 8 will really hamper his opportunity, but he's got a lot of extra speed off of the hairpin, and they're going to go side by side into turn 11. 6Y finds a ton of the gravel, and not only has he lost the position, he's lost the slipstream. That is enormous. Figueroa having the chance now to run away with the race win here. Oh, this is massive though. 6Y does have that extra lap fresher tyres, so there's every chance he can pull back into the slipstream. Figueroa is really struggling on the mediums here, and 6Y has gotten back into the slipstream. Oh, this is quite massive. Guzman's still running in P3. He'll be quite comfortable here. 6Y tries to make another lunge. Figueroa going a bit too deep on the final corner, and it's 6Y through into the lead. Final lap of the race now, and can the Belarusian hold on? He's made an amazing charge back into the lead, but can Figueroa fight back from here with those older tyres? Gap is so close, so tight here. 6Y, he's made a mistake on the hairpin there. That gives Figueroa a chance to go through back into the lead. They're going to go side by side into turn 11. Who's going to get through? Figueroa has the inside. They get edged off a tiny bit. Figueroa will take the lead at the checkered flag. We'll have to see how that gets played out. I believe that should result as it stands. Figueroa taking it there. Quite a exciting finish. Guzman will hold on to the podium. It's X6 and Rusky. Rusky makes one final move for P4, but it's not going to work out. Rams in 6th, then it's Flicks and Jaruni rounding out the top 8. Skip in 9th, followed by Urist in P10. Bubbles will come home in 11th, followed by Ethan and Saucy in 13th. Priya just rounding the final corners as we speak, getting into that checkered flag. P15 for the Bobcat driver. P14, sorry. 15th for Alexei Drozdov, and then it's Axperio still rounding those final quarters with ST and Trixie. That should be our rounding up of the grid. But yeah, what an absolutely enthralling contest that was between the top two. And they absolutely cleared the rest of the field as well. Experial just barely getting through, with ST on his heels at the tail end of that little stint there. And Trixie just getting through. That is our runners all well and done. What's an exciting finish to our feature race today. 6Y will also be taking the point for the fastest lap, but the glory is to Figueroa taking both race wins, those the sprint and the feature at the Italian C Prix today. Lovely result for the Riker Auto driver in a day where Mattima is absent, his standard teammate. He had to pick up all the points he could, and he certainly did as much as he could here. 6Y will be not the happiest with P2, but definitely a good result for him. I know he's said word about struggling on this track. Guzman in P3 though, holding on to that position quite nicely, able to keep the gap between him and everyone behind quite nicely. Indeed, X6 in P4, then it's Rusky and Rams in 6th. Quite tight between those three drivers, especially X6 and Rusky right to the end. With Flix in P7, Jaruni in 8th, then it's Skip and Eurus rounding out the top 10. Further behind, we've got Bubbles in 11th, and it's the HPT's Ethan ahead of Saucy in P12 and 13. Depria in 14th, then it's Alexi, Axperial, ST, 84, and Trixie in 18th, with Paris our sole retirement from this race. Thank you for tuning in. It's been a lovely little event we've had here, and we'll push on to round 5 of the season as we head back to Uruguay for the Montevideo race. We'll have to see how that plays out on a, well, let's say a little bit of a historical track in UL. We did have quite the interesting race last time out 4 seasons ago, and it was quite interesting in CL as well. It was quite a lot of faces quite a lot of different faces that time around, and we'll have to see how the new drivers will treat that track in 1 week's time. For now though, that is all. Thank you for watching.